7 o'clock.
Well, I'm going to say hello just in case anyone is here at 7 o'clock to welcome you to the first Gymnast Voice podcast. If no one on the recording, so obviously you'll catch
I'm just
up.
checking to see if we're live.
Well, look, firstly, obviously, if you don't know, if you've not been to, obviously, as our first podcast, or you don't know who I am, my name is Carlton Webster. I'm an ambassador for Gymnast Voice, which is a non-for-profit organisation, which is designed to give everybody in the gymnast community a platform to get the answers to the question that they ask, and also get legal questions or a legal point of view from Dino, from Leigh, who eventually will appear on the podcast, so that we as a community can build a set of questions to change our culture. And what I mean by that is the ultimate goal will be to get British gymnastics governed. If you didn't know, British gymnastics is ungoverned, which means that your children aren't as safe as you would like to think. It's not a school. So if you think about the safety when you drop off your beautiful children to school, they have a very high protection around them, which means that if a teacher, unfortunately, was being abusive to a child in a school or doing something that was not we'd consider bad practice, Ofsted would be involved. That teacher would be suspended. Your kid would be in a safe environment very, very quickly, and that teacher wouldn't be allowed to carry on teaching that child under an investigation procedure. Let's now transpose that to an unregulated organisation, British Gymnastics. Your child could be in a gym. A said coach could do something of bad practice. If there is a complaint made under our system, because they're unregulated, they can still carry on coaching. They are also informed about the complainant who made that complaint against them. And it's BG's decision whether they choose to give any disciplinary procedures. And right now we currently go under a thing called the Independent Complaints Procedure, shortly known as the ICP. So in that position, your child could be in the hands of a coach who's doing bad practice, under investigation, and every day still be in that same class. So I want to make that clear, the difference between regulating or a regulated organisation, as in your school, as compared to BG. I've also just realised I've been extremely rude and not introduced this beautiful woman to my
That's alright, I'm watching us here.
Who is Nikki, my wife, because as this is live, a little bit nervous, but we're going to get through this. But this is the woman who taught me everything. This is, in my humble opinion, the best gymnastics coach. I say that with pure humility from the fact that there may be coaches that have a more technical know-how, but no one, as I have seen, has got the gift of communication between children as Nikki has, and the understanding and compassion to actually put the child first before any medals. And I think that's a very shameful thing in our culture, that there's a lot of narcissistic coaches who put glamour before the child's welfare, and that's another reason that Gymnast Voice is here. So Nikki, is there anything you'd like to say, seeing as it took me 5 minutes to introduce you, my love?
No, yeah, I suppose so. I'm Nikki, with the CKY. I know there's a lot of people floating around with the same name, but I am CKY, so please make sure you've got the right one, and this is me. And yes, this is my husband. I'm just literally looking at the online thing, and I see that my daughter said hi, Dad. So I hope you and Gran are watching, Bubs. And I think we've got 10 people live, so this is like going really well. So I wasn't being rude when Colton was talking. I was just trying to make sure that everything's right for you guys, because we're obviously here for you guys. We didn't choose to do this at all. And I'm normally coaching on a Thursday. It's only because it's Easter that I'm not. So I'm back in front of the camera. But I'm going to let Colton deal with everything, and I'm going to try and pick up some questions and interject when he needs me. All right?
Okay, so let's explain. So, good evening, everyone, and thank you for watching. You 10 people, love it. Let's go through what we're going to do. So Nikki is going to man the phone line. Now the phone line, because this is live, I've got no imagery that I can put up. So firstly, I've got to give you the number. There's two ways you can do it. Nikki's going to put the phone number in the comments, but also if you go into my Facebook, the number is on there. and I'll read it out now, which is really stupid because I should
He's not
have
gonna know
it
it off
written
by
down.
heart.
And now I've got to do
Hang
this
on,
off
we
by
got
heart,
numbers upon
which
numbers
looks
and-
really unprofessional.
Right,
So I
hang
really
on.
am sorry. I really am. But you can email me at my email, which is carlton@webstersmedia.vision, CARLTON @webstersmedia.vision. Remember the S on the Websters. You can email me in and Nikki can get those questions. You can text also the number I'm going to give you in a moment, which is, I'm sure it is 07. This is so embarrassing, I'm really sorry. So I'm used to editing from the other side so I can just put the number up there.
And I can't
So-
concentrate when he's chatting. So hang on, I got to really focus here.
But anyway, let me move off the number and I'll get it to you as quick as possible, which is so silly, and just tell you the structure. So Gymnast Voice, non-for-profit organisation that is designed to give you the platform to get the fastest way or fastest pathway to get the answer to the question that you ask. We are going to talk about the gymnastics culture, the abuse within our culture. We are going to ask the questions, the uncomfortable ones that nobody does ask. We are going to sit here and allow you to have your voice. You can comment. If you do want to comment in the chat box, please sign in. You got the number?
Sorry, somebody's just said, can we turn up the sound? And yes, I have the number in 1 second. Sorry.
Okay, whomever said that, thank you very much.
And I have the number.
And I don't need my glasses.
Shall I read
Is
it?
that better? Right, good. So whoever asks for the sound, I'm going to try and punch the voice out a bit more. So firstly, give me a thumbs up if the sound is okay. Secondly, I can now give you the number once I put my glasses on and read from the phone. So the number to ring is, if you want to stay anonymous, put 141 in front of the number. Okay? 141, then dial this. 07 386 701 557. I'll repeat that again. 07 386 701 557. I should have written that down as I was telling you so I could see it big to say it again. But let's start with that and we'll see if Nikki or my daughter, who's very, very sharp, Matt, can you put that number in the comments? I'll say it again one more time. 07. Oh God, now the phone's gone off. You think we were professional, wouldn't you? You know this is the first pod, and you know that I'm an electrician, and my wife is a gymnastics coach. But we are going to
I'm
get
a lot
through
more
this.
than that.
Well,
I
no,
mean,
no, sorry.
I think you might be too.
Okay, I do apologise. Right, so hang on. 07 386 701 557. My daughter will put that in the comments. My wife will try and put it in the comments. And I'm going to have to find a way to get like a board I can lift up so you can see the number. But where were we? So that's
my phone.
Your phone.
Yeah.
So text in, send your questions in, email on that number, message, WhatsApp. It will be live throughout the whole podcast and we'll keep it live for a couple of hours after. We do have a lot of questions that have already been sent in via email that we will go through. But what I would like to do is start with our culture and start with some of the basics. Sorry.
It's okay. Somebody's also saying, can we move closer?
Oh,
So hang on, let's get this right, guys.
hang on.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
How is that?
Oh my God.
I'm so glad that this is the first one and Dino's not here.
We will be professional.
Can you
I
imagine?
promise.
We're getting there. But I'm hoping that it's not too bad. I hope it's not a train wreck, so you're still here.
Okay.
Is that better? Is the volume okay? Someone get back to me on that one. Right, so where was I?
Yeah.
Right. To start with, I want to start with an easy standing point and to educate the whole community. I want to start with the ban list, and I want to start with the reason why Gymnasts Voice is here. The reason that I believe there's many people within our culture, especially in British gymnastics, who for many years have remained silent because of the fear of the retribution and just the way our culture is. It's a very subservient culture. Everybody is emasculated. Everybody's made to feel you're not perfect because that's how the sport is designed. It starts from perfection and works backwards. You don't gain a mark. I know they've since changed it, but let's talk about the real history. For many, 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 many years, no matter how hard you trained as a gymnast, you never earned anything. They started from perfection and worked backwards. So it's a very strange culture from someone like me, coming from construction, to walk into and see this kind of worship around a sport that doesn't, I don't know where it comes from. So with that culture in mind, a lot of bad things have been happening, and I don't think you as parents know. I think coaches, especially myself, don't know, and other people who might not know how bad it is. So I want to start with the ban list, because I think once we break down this ban list, you will see the reasons why, fortunately, me and my beautiful wife have been asked to be ambassadors for you to be heard. So everything on this ban list, what I've done is I've got some sheets, and the ones highlighted in red are convictions. So we'll just start with from 1994 to 2006. You will see on that page there is 5 convictions. Is that clear on the screen, John? Is that okay? A bit closer? Is that okay? All right. Moving swiftly forward, 2 gap period, 2006 to 2008. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 convictions. Moving forward, just in a 1 year gap period, 2008 to 2009, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are convictions, people. The others are safeguarded. These coaches have all been banned. I'm just showing you the ones that have got criminal convictions, okay? Just convictions. I don't know what the others have done, but let's just stick with them. 2009 to 2013. Now, I call this period the quiet years because in these 4 years, there was 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're down to a ratio of just 1 a year. But you can see from the previous slides, it was over 1 a year for the amount of convicted BG coaches. This is not normal. BG coaches convictions, right? So these years, though, the next 5 years, they certainly made up for it, because in this gap you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more convictions. So this is now where it gets scary, because I'm now in the sport. I came in 2010, 2011, 2011. So we're now 2016 to 2020, reasonably quiet. 1, 2, 3. Is that 3 there, John?
Yep.
Right, so only 3, you could say less than 1 a year. But let's now get a bit closer. 2 in 2020 to 2021. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty consistent, but still over 1 a year. Now, check this last slide. This is present. 2020 to 2024, there is only 1 white slip. And the yellow at the bottom, can I zoom in, John? Can you tell me when the date is clear?
That's clear.
The 5th of this month, March 2024. New one added to the ban list. So in short, the maths have changed now because we've got new people appearing all the time. The first, up to 2013, is 1.16 ratio. BG coaches are convicted per year. Between 2013 and now, these 11 years, it was 1.54. I'll have to add this new guy that appeared in the 5th of March. That's going to make the ratio go up by whatever. Someone could do the maths. Put it in the comments. If someone can do that ratio for me, put it in the maths. But I am saying our culture is rotten. The time for chit-chat, rumours, waffle, nobody doing nothing, them days are over. That's why we're here. We're now going to put a stop to that. And our ultimate goal is to get them governed. BG need a governing body above themselves so we can stop this nastiness. You understand? 62 or 63 now banned coaches, and there was 35, so 36 have now been convicted since 1994. So someone sharper than me, do those maths, please put the updated ratio, 36 coaches in 30 years, how many does that work out now on average per year, and then do it from 2013 to now. There was 17, so that's now 18. Give me the ratio between 2013 and now 18 BG coaches. Drop that in the comments.
Yeah.
This needs to be discussed. Me and my wife ain't having it no more. She stood up first on No More Silence in 2021, nearly 4 years ago now, and said about our culture. And she was left alone by the coaches in Team Gym, whom, I will say this, as just a quick interjecture, all sat on a plane while another gymnast was sitting on his knee on the way home. Not the person, not Stuart was, let me rephrase that, sorry, got a bit overpassionate. The delegation in 2018 returned home, and there was a young minor sitting on one of the BG coaches' lap. Now, unless all these coaches are Stevie Wonder, nobody else saw, but someone took a picture and sent the picture to me, so we have the evidence of said offence. They then went on to spread one of those stupid British gymnastic rumours that I photoshopped the picture, but that's another side story. Yeah, exactly. But so what I'm saying is this: our culture is bad, and someone needs to be honest and upfront to tell you how bad it is. And I'm not saying this to scare you. We're saying this to educate you, so you see what we see, so then we can make a collective decision of one, what questions we're going to ask Leigh, Dino. One, the serious questions. Two, how do we stop it? And three, how do we get British gymnastic governed? All right? And you, the parents, have the power. The income for BG comes from you paying your wonderful children's fees. Yeah? I can't repeat this enough. The Olympic squad, they're sponsored. Yes, they make BG money through the sponsorships coming, but they've also got to pay those elite athletes a wage. And obviously there is some income to BG and the aspiration of new kids to come in to want to be Olympic champions. So I get the draw. But those new Olympic champions that come through the door are your young children. And you need to understand, when you bring your little kids to the door, you're handing them over to unregulated, ungoverned coaches who in their own club can choose what practice they decide to coach with. They are ungoverned. And get this, if your child comes home and says, I've had a bad experience, and you make a complaint about that coach, and it ends up in an independent complaints procedure, which we will go into in a bit more detail in a minute, that coach can still coach. It's BG's choice of maybe whether they apply disciplinary action to said coach whilst under investigation. So that opening there is why we're here. We are here to change this. We are here to be your voice. We are here to break down the silence. We are here to be ambassadors for a non-for-profit organisation that wants to, one, give you this platform to speak, to be heard. Two, give you a conduit that you will have very clever people, or legal people. Dino and Leigh are a fantastic firm. If you haven't heard of Leigh before, do some research. Recently, in March, they just became the first law firm to prosecute ballet for fat shaming. They have a very, very credible abuse prosecution record. They don't like me flattering them too much, and I get it, you know what I mean, because I understand, but I've got to be honest, they are, in my opinion, really, really good, really fast, and have cleared all their gymnastics workload where they had prior to this podcast and a recent trailer. There are people speaking to them now, thank God, because I think they're the best to go to if you have any questions about abuse, or not any questions, it's not like they're, an answering firm. I mean, if you have a complaint and you want to know exactly the right way to proceed with that complaint and to get the fastest results, Leigh. To give you an example, Nikki O'Donnell, I think that was 18 months to get a conclusion. So I know there's other people with other law firms, and this is no disrespect to any other law firms, that have been going on for 3 or 4 years. There are situations that I think if you're looking for an outcome, you want it to move faster than that. Not disrespecting the law firm, I'm saying that's how long it takes with the ICP and the procedure that BG have in place. But Leigh are fast. So you're going to have direct access and questions, and he apologises for not being here tonight, but he has got the questions that you've emailed and sent in. And without further ado, I want you all to understand, we're here to listen, we're here to pass on our information, to hopefully get everything in our head, in your head, so you can make an informed decision. And when it comes to getting them regulated and changing the law, we as a movement can move as one and implement the actions to get BG regulated. And I think, I don't know about what you think, serious for them getting regulated, isn't it? What do you think?
Oh, I could go on for hours. But I'm just going to interject on the banned list, because my big thing, and I've not spoken for a while, and I really have to be careful of what I say, because it is so horrendous. But we still didn't know that this person who was added on the 5th of March was added on the 5th of March. We have no idea who he is. I can see it says gymnast, I can see it says expelled, and I can see it says criminal conviction. Since, can I say the discipline?
course you can. I
Okay.
think discipline's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
Sure, for sure.
All right then. So, all
We're
right,
team
I'll relax.
gym.
So, since I found he's another team gym person. This is the first gymnast on this list of however many Colton has just told you about. And why? Like, why is he a gymnast? Why has there never been any gymnast before? Why are some people on here? They have a criminal conviction, yet they're down here as safeguarding. Stuart Woods, who we was at the sentencing with to see, he did have a criminal conviction, and that's correct here. I completely agree with this. Well done. But the other ones, if they're safeguarding, now how can I trust you that this kid who's 21, sorry, he's not a kid, but to me he's a kid, and I have no idea what he's done, so I can't find anything about it, and nobody knows because it's another Stuart thing.
It should be it should be.
Right.
I do agree.
So whose is his criminal conviction? Because somebody asked me this, what is a criminal conviction? So I actually went onto their site, and they tell you what the sanctions are. So we'll see if I can fire this up.
I hope the sound's good. I hope the pictures, hope we're close enough. Carry on. And thank you for being here on this embryonic journey.
Oh, no, it's easier than I thought. So, sanctions. Banned. This is a time limit ban from the sport, usually with conditions attached to it, such as the completion of risk assessments or further training. Where a member is subject to a ban, we will state the length of time that this will be in place for. Okay, so I hope that's happening because there's quite a few banned on there. I think, how many did you say? Hundreds or whatever?
36 in the last 30 years.
Right, which I've got a lot more that are not on that list. I have a lot more.
That we know of. Let's have it right, that we know of. There is more, but we can't say that without being in defamation because they're not on the list. Yeah. But there is more. It's 3 figures. Fact.
Yeah.
Fact.
Yeah. Okay, so expelled. These are the members who have had their membership of British Gymnastics removed on a permanent basis. Expelled members can, according to the complaints and disciplinary policy, another policy, reapply for membership 5 years after expulsion. However, any readmission would be subject to the approval of the board. Okay? So then I had a little bit more because I was like, well, why is the safeguarding and the criminal convictions? It doesn't make sense again, so I have to go and dig and research to see if I can find. And this is all on their website. So safeguarding. So if one of these people have safeguarding written beside them, this is what it's supposed to mean. This is where the British Gymnastics Case Panel or Independent Complaints Process Case Panel have determined the outcome based on a safeguarding investigation. That's what safeguarding means. Criminal conviction, well, that means this indicates that the member has been expelled in line with the membership rules and or articles of association following conviction of a relevant criminal offence, which may not relate to gymnastics. Disciplinary means this is where the British Gymnastics Case Panel or Independent Complaints Process Case Panel have determined the outcome based on a disciplinary investigation. Okay, so I'm going to get cross, so I'm going to pass this over to Colton because he can speak in a way where people can listen. There we go, darling.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with your vernacular or your passion. I think it's very obvious. A criminal conviction is just obvious. You cannot have a criminal conviction unless you've broken the law. What we don't know is what laws they have broken. It must be something criminal. Abuse is abuse. So let me go back again, so I was too quiet. So a criminal conviction is a criminal conviction. It means that you must have broken a law. To be a crime, you have to have broken a law. What we don't know is what level of abuse law they broke, but I can tell you now, the threshold in BG for abuse to be criminal, high. I mean high. Because I've sent evidence to welfare that I think makes my toes curl, and they're like, well, we give them a little slap on the wrist or an ICP.
Training.
Yeah, go and do a little welfare course or some foolishness. But we'll get back to that, but it is sickening. But let me break that down. A criminal conviction is there. What we believe on the ban list should be, we need to know what they were convicted for. there are different levels of abuse, as we know, but what we're really talking about here, mainly when it's criminal, is the worst kind of abuse. I won't say the word, I want this aired, and it's a live podcast. But we all know what the worst kind of abuse is. And it's a sad thing that there are different levels of abuse within our culture, that we have to even say that, because obviously the verbal abuse, the bullying, the fat shaming, that's standard. That's a way of coaching. In fact, they're proud. People write emails about, whoa, naysayers, look at you lot now. We're still winning gold medals, baby, by battering kids emotionally, day in, day out, to perform like circus queens for them and their ego. And like I will keep saying this, a coach has never won a medal in their flipping life. I have never seen one. I've seen many gymnasts bank them though. Hard-working, committed, abused gymnasts bank medal after medal after medal. But a coach, I've never seen one earn one. They take the glory though, don't they? And then they go, oh, give me an MBE. Let me be recognised for my abusive, systematic culture, the way I made this gymnast broken as a person, so they delivered a medal for me. How narcissistic can you lot be? You make me sick. I hope you're watching, and if you ain't watching, I hope someone tells you that me and my wife, you make us sick. The fact that you would put a bronze or a silver or a gold, I mean, what level of abuse do you measure this at? Do you go, okay, for a bronze, I'm prepared to that gymnast to endure this level of abuse. But what would you do for gold? Because I know how you lot think. You're proper twisted. That means more to you that you was an MBE for what? What have you done? What the?
And recognise their achievements
for
at
what?
the sport.
Bullying kids.
Yeah, obviously,
All
and
right.
a lot more.
All right.
A lot more.
Well, let's just throw this out there. Yeah, the elite culture at the highest level is probably the worst place for any young Olympic gymnast to be, because that level of atonement, can you imagine the egos behind these coaches if you are selected to represent British gymnastics at an Olympics and you're targeting a gold medal? Can you imagine the mindset of those coaches? Right? Because let's have it right. Are they doing it for your all right, I'm speaking to the gymnast now. Is your coach doing it for you because they believe in you as a child and they have nurtured you along your journey and want you to win for yourself? Or is your coach wanting that medal so that you make their gym club and their name prestigious and synonymous with those 5 rings?
Or would that allow them to get funding or a scholarship or a place in a national team or a away trip at a display festival? Would that work? Would that entice them to do that?
It's a very good point.
Well,
so, you know, in a nutshell, I've got to be honest, and I'll embarrass her, I don't care. She's the best coach because she's the only coach I've ever met in my life that puts the kids first. I'm not saying others don't exist, I just don't know you. I've not, you know, I'm married to this woman, I love this woman, so therefore I've only been taught by this woman. But what I will say is, I've met a few coaches in Team Gym, and I've met a few coaches in Artistic, not many because I'm proper low level, but I've not met any other that puts the kids first. And to a level that she's like a mum to them, or she sees each gymnast as her surrogate child. It used to cause a lot.
I just care about them, and nobody was there apart from my mum when I was a kid, and she's not here anymore. Do you know what I mean? And these kids, they sometimes can't go to their mum, they can't go to their dad, they have nobody, absolutely no one, and British Gymnastics took that away from them. Back over to you.
Yeah, well, not even that. I was just going to say, no, I think you're spot on. I think you should speak more. Mm-hmm. And not only that, it's not just kids. Imagine this abuse in our culture has been happening from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, right? So I'm saying our phone ain't just filled with young kids. I'm telling you, there are people older than me. I'm not going to embarrass these ladies because I think that's unfair on them, but they are in their mature years. And if you imagine someone who was 10 in the 50s or 10 in the 60s or 10 in the 70s, I was born in the 60s, yeah? You're going to be 50, 60, 70, 80 now. And it's still fresh in their mind. That's another thing. That's why I want to get rid of this historical word. Historical abuse is balderdash. Okay?
See, I could never do that.
Right?
It would just come out.
Balderdash. And let me tell you why. If you've not seen it before, I'm going to say it again. The victim deals with it every single day. Every single day the victim deals with their trauma. Every day. More than once a day. You get mental trauma, physical trauma. I'm sorry, I really wanted, there was a specialist therapist that I was trying to get on the show that could really talk about trauma in a much more in-depth way than I can. I have to still follow up on a few connections, but that's what I want to bring you, because I know that this subject matter can trigger people. I know even the name British Gymnastics can trigger people. The symbol of a gymnast can trigger people. So, look, I'm not a therapist. I haven't got a clue. I wouldn't even claim to be. I want someone who's highly qualified. And if there is someone watching this podcast who's highly qualified that think they can help, please get in touch. Because I need a psychologist. I need a therapist or whatever they are called, that I get the word right, that can deal with the psychology of these poor, broken people who have been abused for too many years.
And can I just add, and we don't mean somebody that's come out of university and got all of the degrees and the paperwork. I need people to speak to my people who understand gymnastic abuse. They understand the training that they've had to endure. So much so that when they get asked to wheel their hands, because that's what the Russians did, that's acceptable to them. Can you imagine what they had gone through to think that that was acceptable by these men and women?
That's a very good point, actually. I'm glad you said that. Listen,
I'm getting cross now. I'm going
back to my
phone.
Listen, you can see why. Listen, how can I say this? Sometimes we speak colloquially, and I will say these men or whatever. I really have to make this clear, because I keep getting told off for this. There's many abusive women coaches, female coaches. Many. All right? And we have to keep reiterating that, because I keep getting told off behind the scenes from all you wonderful people that have sent in your questions that we'll get to in a minute. And the kind message of support. Got to thank everyone for that as well. It's been,
for sure.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal. But yeah, when we talk about abuse, it's women.
And sorry, did you just say about saying thank you? And
Yeah. I missed that.
But what I mean is not thank you to anyone that I knew before. These are brand new people to me. Do you know what I mean? I now know the whole of the history, which people don't want me to know. Not the glazed version. These are raw, bloody stories here. So right.
I was just detecting a little bit of tension from the fact that, lack of the colleagues.
Yeah, but I don't want people thinking that all my colleagues have suddenly gone back to me, because they haven't, And I'm okay with that, because if I'm a mirror and you can't look at me without seeing what you might have let go through without speaking up, you might have tried, you might not have been loud enough, but you had a choice. Everybody has a choice of the way they coach, and if they don't like it, they find an alternative, like I did.
I'm going to make it even simpler. No, listen, what are you talking about? We're apologising for. Listen, I'm going to make it even simpler. Who are you as people? Forget coaching, forget gymnastics. Who are you as people? Because this is where I get slightly confused, because I'm saying, and I've said this before, and I'm sorry to repeat myself, but I have to try and get this out, and I think I said it wrong the time before. If I'm walking down the street and I see a kid being abused, that's abuse to me. I'm going to step in and stop that abuse happening.
Me too.
Right? That's just who I am as a person. If I am in a gym and I see abuse happening, I'm going to step in, because that's the same abuse to me. Am I right? I don't differentiate. Sure. So what I don't get is, I need to ask you this question, because when you finish coaching, you turn the gym lights off and you're walking home. So I'm saying, when you're walking home now, you're out of the gym, if you saw a kid being abused, would you do anything? Would you step in? Have you got a moral obligation to help that kid? That's what I'm asking, because what I don't get is, when you go in tomorrow and switch the gym lights back on, all of them are just like that. And I'm like, what the actual, you're like that. No. Sorry.
And it gets even worse. Again, I can go worse, because it's turning a blind eye. It's not just not seeing anything. It's doing this and telling the stories on and on and on. And I've now had to go back to each one of those links and try and find the person that all of these stories, everybody knew these stories, And I don't know everybody, but the people that I've managed to find just in the 5 weeks since the ITV documentary, you know, I've linked a lot up. So imagine what we could do if we all got together and everybody linked all of their dots. Then they've got they can't stand there. They cannot stand in there. There's no way.
Well, I mean, again, you know, and she's being polite because
I am sorry.
I'm just going to go back. Let's just go back to the 2018 delegation. We all know what happened. I'm talking about Team Gym just specifically. I'm sorry to any artistic people watching. I don't have much knowledge on the artistic, but everything we're saying does apply to you. And I know that your culture is probably 10 times worse than ours.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
and every discipline again.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
You know,
sure.
there's 14 of these disciplines.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
everybody has a voice.
Yeah, for sure. And what we're saying is we, you know, we can talk about our discipline because it's a micro synopsis of the whole culture. And just take this, that there was, you know, this is just a delegation. There's other people on this plane, parents and stuff, but I'm saying there's 18 BG delegations on a plane, and somebody's taken a picture. I'm not, you know, saying it's anyone in the delegation, but this thing must have happened.
The pilot.
Well, yeah,
the pilot that nipped out to take.
I have read sections of emails, or if you go to our Facebook or my Facebook, you can see the full story. But you know, I've had it confirmed by 3 separate people. This incident of a gymnast sitting on a knee on a BG coach. And again, I'm not saying that anything untoward's happening, and what I'm saying is one, it's bad practice. 2, I think it's highly unethical because what message does that send to everybody else in the team? 3, it's a minor on a British Gymnastics lap in the same delegation where the year before Stuart Woods was up to no good, who's now serving 11 years for his disgusting crimes. I'm saying, when does someone with a bit of common sense go, whoa, maybe the young gymnast sitting on your lap on the plane, not really a good image considering we've had one convicted from the same delegation.
And do you remember in 1985 when that guy was sitting on the lap? Remember what happened to him? Oh yeah, he went down in 2000 and blah blah. Do you know what I mean? Learn from history and listen to the stories and the signs. It
Right.
will happen again.
Oh, well, let's have it, right? Happen again, Nick.
Well, we don't know.
No, what are you talking about?
Well, you might
tight.
have nicked a fiver out of the local shop. You have no idea what they say.
Listen, all I'm saying this. This man, a gymnast, on the 5th of the 3rd, 2024, was expelled with a criminal conviction. So when we're saying happening again, what is the date?
So yeah, that's
Today's the 28th. So this is 23 days ago.
Yeah, and
23 days ago.
2 Team Gym people out of the whole list. 2 Team Gym people, which started, I found out, in 1995 to 1996. We didn't find it until probably 2000, late 2000s. But in the last 3 years, 2 people from Team Gym that nobody really knew the story about at all. Like, was this guy as a gymnast suspended? Did the people know him? Was he in a team? Did those people know? Well, was he ever a coach? You know, has he been in a mixed team somewhere and had his hands on some girl? You have no idea. Have you contacted those people and told the story? As the chairman or the technical committee, do they know that there's a Team Gym, another Team Gym person?
Well, hang on, stop there.
Oh.
Right, let's stop there. Because, no, let's expand on what you've just said. So, we can tell you to back up what Nikki's saying. I'm not stopping her because she's overpassionate or she's doing anything wrong. I'm saying, I can tell you from Stuart Woods, let's use him as a yardstick, and let's go through how our welfare treated an arrested sex offender in October 2019.
For sure.
Right? So, let me just break this down. I'll say it off the top of my head. I've got notes, but let me say it off the top of my head. This guy was arrested for sex offences against minors in October 2019. He was seen in the car park of a British Gymnastics qualifier event by none other than my wife.
In the capacity of an international judge at the time and on a panel judging those qualifiers.
Because our welfare and chairman allowed him to coach from afar. Now, the reason why I say welfare and chairman is I've read a lot of the BC policies and no actions really no action cannot go through the chair because the head of the discipline would have to know, 1, if there is a coach on the BG delegation that's been arrested for sex offences, and 2, I know about the relationship between those two. Yeah, go. The 2 individuals. So at the end of the day, I can quite categorically say that the powers that be that control our discipline knew of this man and made a collective decision for him to manage from afar. So not only was he outside of tournaments, he was getting live streams from inside of tournaments. I can confirm that too. He was allowed to partake in Zoom coaching sessions where he was watching the Zoom and giving his coaching prowess to critique the floor or whatever he was doing. That's fact. He received pictures of half-naked torso gymnasts, which apparently was brought in for triple rotation assessments. They found the gymnast had to be naked from the torso up so that they could see the biomechanics of the body, whether this guy could do a triple rotation or not. Again, I was wrong with the massaging, so I'm not going to say that there is not maybe a biomechanical theory you can get from looking at a half-naked gymnast, but I do question, one, is that good practice, and surely there's another way. And all right, these lycra tops that we wear for gymnastics, they're quite tight. I don't see what you couldn't see through this. Strange, right? But he was allowed access to that. This is all after he's been arrested. You need to understand, this is after he has been arrested. He was allowed to go to galas and award shows, again, under BG's consent. I can show you emails where it will confirm that we allowed him to said events. I don't know, as my wife was saying so passionately, if they informed any other minors that was at those events that this guy's a arrested sex offender. And it seems that it was okay for BG to not diminish their brand, but did they think about the danger of one that they put my wife in? Because the background, the day before, we was there with our own children because we had a team in those qualifiers. It was only the fact that Nikki was judging in her brevet capacity the day after that us lot were at home. So, 24 hours before, knowing Nikki, she could have been talking to Stuart and our own children would have been around them.
Oh, I'm going back in at that bit.
I have serious issues about that. So again, there's a lot of reasons why we may be too passionate, but I'm saying my kids were 24 hours away from meeting a convicted paedophile. Let's keep it real. And before you come in with anything, I've got to say, this special relationship shit that you lot have, no, I'm sorry, no, shit's not too bad a word. If it is, I'm sorry. YouTube, I'll bleep it out. I am terribly sorry. I'm going to apologise now to those that can hear. Is shit okay, John?
No!
Oh.
Let's stop saying
All
it.
right, okay,
Let's just stop saying it.
Sorry. Kids, sorry. And my own children, Micaiah, I'm really sorry. Oh my God, and sorry. Look, let me start again. I come from construction. I'm an ex-martial artist. I've got loads of friends and I've been around the world. I've never, ever heard the term special relationship until I walked inside a gym. And I didn't know what that meant. And I've heard, people with this knee sitting business, they have a special relationship. And I'm like, whoa, tight. I don't see, there ain't no special relationship between coach and minor. Ever. So I know there's certain people that actually saw Stuart Woods' groom raping practices on multiple kids as they had a special relationship. I need to get you to understand something, yeah? A 13-year-old and a 30-year-old or a 29-year-old, that's not special. That's twisted. That's dark. That's paedophilia. It's rape. Right? Let's make it even simple. A 16-year-old kid with a 15-year-old girl, that's technically rape. Let's have it right, because she's not legal. Am I right there, Nick?
Yeah.
Right? So even though you couldn't really argue, a 16-year-old boy being in love with a 15-year-old girl, I think it's quite natural. Them having to, I think it's quite natural. But in the court of law, that would be deemed as rape.
Yeah. And,
right?
and these aren't that.
Right.
This is not that.
13 and 29, or 13 and 30, or 14 and 30, and all these other relationships that you lot think are normal between coach and gymnast, it's wrong. It's wrong. Twisted, and only you lot use this term. You coaches, you gymnasts, you need to understand this term special relationship is absolute codswallop. Total poppycock. It's only ever used with a minor and an adult in gymnastics. I've never heard that term before. Has anybody... Tell me in the comments, anybody outside of gymnastics ever heard of the term special relationship?
Oh, there might be some of them in the...
Or wherever there's young children.
Yeah.
Hold tight.
Hang on a minute.
Let me rephrase that. outside of a grown person and a minor. Yeah, just think about that. You got to see it for what it is. Stop hiding behind, oh, well, I thought it was this, and oh, I thought it was that, so I don't believe Nikki. You absolute. Let me rephrase it, yeah? The truth will always out. It will always out. And we're bringing the truth, and we're bringing the receipts. So let's stop all the rumours about disgruntled children. Let's stop all the rumours about their special relationship. And let's look at the code of ethics and morals that any adult should have around the children. We had this chat the other day. If me and Nikki were GP delegates and my beautiful kids were part of the team, I wouldn't even let them sit on me lap.
No.
Because I'll tell you what I'd say. I'd say, Ty, Mac, listen, I love you, and yes, I would do, but I'm saying, you got your teammates here. One, they're going to mug you off because what you're doing is sitting on our lap, and two, you don't need it.
And they would not want to. They would not want to. They'd be like, we'd be.
They're more secure than that. They want to come and sit on mummy and daddy's lap with their mates on a plane.
And again, even like, we're not saying that you have to be insecure to do that. But
really?
because I imagine like how messed up these kids actually are when the groomer gets hold of them.
Okay, but I still see that as a child-parent relationship to go and sit on his lap.
Others. No, exactly. That's not the right thing to make them feel secure.
Right.
What you have to do is get to the root of why they feel insecure and have boundaries. They need boundaries and they need to be heard. This is not okay. It's not okay. You are very close. You're very close.
And the thing is, in our community, they all know who we're talking about. Right, and that's what cracks me up. And I'll tell you now, 18 people on the plane certainly know who I'm talking about.
Right.
Who must have walked up and down the aisle.
And,
oh no!
It's not just the sitting on the laps. And you know that.
Yeah,
all of these coaches know that. There's a lot that these coaches have done.
Yeah, but hang on.
And it's been swept onto that carpet, and that carpet is too big. And we're blowing the carpet. It will all come out. If they want it to come out, it will come out. We will share their stories.
It's up to them. I thought you was going to say the part where the rumour was apparently she was walking down the aisle, slipped on a pan, and fell on his lap.
I'm not even entertaining the rumours.
No.
And if you don't want to believe that, that's on you.
Whilst on their mobile phone,
just
sitting there. So So again, you believe what you want to believe. I think me and her are going to come with the truth. We're going to bring you facts. We're going to try and open up a line of communication. That phone call, who was that? Was that a question?
This is somebody that, anonymous, that wants to speak to you that we spoke about earlier. So I'm just trying to find out what they want. But I have got another question as well that came in.
Okay.
And basically, is there any criteria of how you speak to Gymnast Voice? And no, absolutely not.
Hang on. Let's make it. Hang on. We'll do the professional bit. Criteria, no. There's no topic we won't discuss with you. How you get in touch is, at this moment, until the official Gymnast, I think it might be gymnast.net, but however they're going to say it, I'll have to speak to the people or the team would have to. You can email me. So if you want to contact me, Carlton at webstersmedia.vision. Anytime. You can, sorry?
This message is like now they're getting to this through the number. So WhatsApp, Messenger.
Oh, I didn't write the number down.
We're on LinkedIn, Instagram. I mean, all of them. We're just getting. Oh, hang on. Yeah.
Hang on. And I'm going to get the number. Let's get the number again.
I put it in the comments.
Oh, sorry. So the number's in the comments, right? Look in the comments. You'll see that number. You can ring us, text us, message us. We only have that phone at the moment live for tonight, and we'll keep it open till about, a couple of hours after the show. And then what we're hoping to do is get more lines set up. There also is the, let me explain the NSPCC helpline for two reasons. One, it's a British gymnastics helpline that obviously could trigger you when you hear those words. But the reason it's there is so that we get a reference point for your complaint. And I will go into the ICP procedure in a minute after we answer these questions that are coming in now, because that's what it's about. It's about Q&A, so let's get the questions going. But where was I? Why was I saying that? So yeah, so you can email us, you can call us, you can message us. I have a public Facebook. I do. I had that since No More Silence back in 2021.
Yep.
For a lot of people to come forward. If you had no one to speak to, you can speak to me. I'm not a counsellor, but I listen to you.
No.
I'm not I have no professional, I've got no qualifications to be where I am right now. All I've got is I'm a working class man, I'm a parent, I'm a husband.
First generation coming over.
Yeah, and
equally in the 80s,
yeah,
that qualifies him.
Yeah, but I'm saying, and I'm a gymnastics coach, so I think I can see it from all sides, and I have no loyalty to British Gymnastics or anyone I was disgustingly in an arena with that has perpetrated this stuff. And I've got to be honest, even though as people, I will probably acknowledge you. Any coach I've met in Team Gym that hasn't spoken to Nikki since the documentary or stuck up for the kids that we know that are suffering and obviously appearing on ban lists, so something I go on, let's have it right. So this is what we're saying. Our community is that silent that there's now a young gymnast on the 5th of this month being expelled. No one's talking.
Since the documentary?
Yeah, since the doc, so no one's talking. What did he do? I mean, should we have a chit chat? So let me, this is what's so stupid. Look at where the silence has got you. I'll tell you where your silence has got you. This geezer here, on the 5th of March, Team Gym, expelled, conviction. That's where your silence has got you. What we want to do is open our big mouths and maybe stop this happening by having a conversation, by talking about the truth in our culture, and hopefully people in the community realise that welfare and the people in charge of our discipline allow arrested sex offenders to be at tournaments, stream a tournament, manage from afar,
awards,
be at award ceremonies,
receive awards,
Zoom calls,
choreography,
receive pictures of gymnasts without their tops on from the waist up. I mean, how much of a list do you want for an arrested sex offender for you lot who are staying silent because we want our medals, we want our prestigious club, we want to BBG, right? How much of that are you willing to endure when there's a man on the list now that got expelled on the 5th of March? Because the way I want to do it, and the way Nikki wants to do it, the way Gymnasts Voice wants to do it, we want to get them governed. We want to tell Dino this stuff. We want to answer your questions. We want to actually give you a voice. So to answer that question, there is no criteria. You need to speak to me or my wife. You can email me. You can call me. You can go on Facebook and messenger me. You can comment on a video. You can, I'm everywhere. I mean everywhere, that sounds a bit arrogant, doesn't it? I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. But that's because of my business, not like...
I won't let him rest, so he has to keep going. I need a roar.
Me and Nikki are not in a position because we applied for a job or we chose to be here. I'm here because I love this woman. I taught gymnastics, found out I was in a culture that I couldn't mix with them taken a back seat, and now I want to help any gymnast or coach or anyone who's been abused, because I'm disgusted by what I saw in such a short space of time. I already had a media company where, you know, videography, dronography and stuff, I already had that. They've just, Gymnasts Voice has put the two together and put us out here. So that's why I've got the channel. I've not just opened this up for Gymnasts Voice. So what I'm saying is my social media presence on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, find me. My name's always the same, and you can get hold of me that way. Be anonymous if you want to call me. 141 in front of the number. Protect your private number. I don't know how you do it anonymous.
So just make a name up. Like we
see
people that have got to change their name throughout all of this, or just don't want to be hidden throughout the system. So we'll abide by anything that you need us to do. Basically, we don't want to trigger anything. And these triggers could be anything. So once you've told us your trigger, you know, we'll do our utmost not to use that against you, because it can be the most surprising things. I'm just trying to find something, but I will come back.
No worries, and we'll get to that question as well. On the flip side of it as well, you have my word, and I will speak for my wife. I won't speak on behalf of her, but I can speak for my wife, that if you've not heard in our community of anyone that we're speaking to, trust me, you never will. Because there's people in our community that are contacting us who have said their names, that I would never, ever, ever, ever break GDPR and confidentiality. I've had people that have contacted us. I've never said a name publicly. I might guide you through my post of where these people reside, and hopefully you make up your own mind. But let's start from the top down. You see me? Well, let's cut the tree down. You cut it down here, but let's take the top down first. That's where I'm coming from. So I'm saying, me and my wife ain't in a position to allow man to manage from afar. We ain't in positions to go, okay, you've been arrested, but you can still be at a tournament in a car park.
Yeah.
We ain't in a position to say, do you know what? Once you come in this tournament, speak to a young coach. She's going to live stream you, these young kids in their leotards for you, Stu, while you're on bail. Are you mad? We can't make those decisions. None of us in the community can make those decisions.
Exactly.
What you need to do is think who can.
Yeah.
And who's still there, and why are we sycophantically going, oh, what the actual fudge? What the... It baffles me that there's this sycophantic worship for people that have been in positions for a while that are clearly incapable of doing a competent job. Stuart Woods, which I keep repeating because he's only recent and only been inside since 2021, so it should be fresh in all our minds, should be the epitome of you to make a decision on. 1, is our welfare good enough? 2, is the people in charge good enough? 3, what did we know? And I challenge any of you. If anybody else heard that it wasn't a disgruntled boy up until September the 17th, 2021, when we went to the sentencing,
I found out.
I'll give you £1. And if you did, and if you didn't, if you knew anything different, my second question would be, what did you do about it? If you actually knew the truth, what he was arrested for, what did you do about it? So you ain't going to come forward anyway, are you? So even if you knew the truth and done nothing, who are you? And if you're like us, just a disgruntled person from a team, we were hoodwinked. How much danger do you think we was all in? Don't you care? I care about my reputation, especially as a man. I don't want to be known as a friend of a pedo, and I certainly don't want my kids, which could have been with her, at a tournament around a pedo.
You're lucky.
But you lot don't care, do you? You lot like, well, I still think he's all right. He's a great coach. What the actual...
And even as far as afterwards, like I said it in No More Silence when I first went mad. That was team gym. I chose to move away from artistic because of the coaching and the B's and the B's. Can I say those words? Well, you said a lot. Can I say?
I don't see why.
Maybe I don't need to. All right.
Our kids are watching, so I don't think.
No, okay. Really bad coaches. And still to this day, nobody has checked in with them. Even after No More Silence, even after whatever. And it's been like 3 years, I think. 2.5 years he's now been down. And nobody wants to check. Nobody wants to go, you know what, I'm so sorry, because I kind of thought something was going on. I kind of thought you needed help. I kind of thought that I should have done something. A lot of people come to me now, and a lot of people still are with me that I'm checking in, that came out with me in 21. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Well,
I've got one more thing as well, if I can just carry on. Right, so back to my band list, and I've got some messages. So
we've got to do these questions.
Yeah, this is what's riding me up, is because I've got people obviously telling me some stuff and saying...
fresh through the phone?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but to just remember, and can you do this, and what about this?
Stay with me one second. Thank you everyone for staying with us, getting through this, and just... It's probably organised chaos, but hopefully you're getting something.
So, you read that. That's got to come out in a minute, and that's from who we talked about earlier.
Okay, no worries.
So, getting back to the band list. So, we have now, I said, 2 coaches right at the end since the documentary, since Stuart, who have come out. So, that's 2. If you look back and who started the discipline, and you'll find that a lot of these people started the disciplines, the one person that has got a criminal conviction, now he might not have had it in 2004. But he certainly had it in 2008, and I know that for a fact, and it's all over the internet. So that's not a secret that I'm giving out here. But can you see here? Across here, under safeguarding.
Come forward. Oh shoot.
Can
Sorry.
you see that one? That one needs to be updated as soon as, guys, alright? That's one of my big things. That needs to be updated, because you know in 2008, I think he served 6 years of his 9. So, yeah. Otherwise, I'll send you some links just to prove those facts if that's what you need. But one of my people desperately needs this to have the truth.
Okay, all right. So let's get to the question because time's moving on, and I hope it's not too bad. So I have. You want me to read this out and explain the story?
They're just fine with you just reading that out.
Okay. Well, a lot of the silence in our culture is to do with what people consider to be bullied. If you are a upcoming fantastic gymnast and you have aspirations of being an Olympian and getting in the team, and there's many children that can have that ability, you're going to be frightened of a coach that can stop that progression. It's bullying. If the coach themselves is in a position where they might think that that senior coach to them is doing something wrong, but that's going to deny them their path for them to get their medal or whatever glory they're searching for. That's not, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that's their dream, that their gymnastic coaching dream. That's a form of bullying because they're going to think, my God, if I speak up against this coach, we're going to, I'm going to get myself in trouble. So what you parents need to know, there are other organisations out there. There's one called IGA. That's the Independent Gymnastics Association. They have, I think, 40,000 members. I know
and rising.
They have got a completely different approach to British gymnastics. They take welfare very, very seriously. To back them up, I don't think they mind me saying this. They've contacted me since the documentary on numerous occasions to ask how they can help or how can we improve our welfare. We are that committed to it. Now, bear in mind, this is another organisation. I don't know this organisation. I'm getting to know them, who have rang and said, Colton and or Gymnasts Voice, let's be more accurate. Could you give us some help towards how you think what we could implement to improve our welfare? BG, I've been in it for 12 years. She's been in it 38 years.
No, I've been in it 42 years. That's 3/4 of my life. I've been a member of British Gymnastics.
Yeah,
you owe me answers, mate. Whoever you are, that group of people up there, I'm coming.
No.
Sorry, I'm coming.
Sorry. So where was I now? Yeah, what I'm saying is so you can imagine in the last 3 years since Stuart Wood's conviction, we've made a bit of noise. I didn't expect to be in this position, but we made a bit of noise. Nikki obviously grabbed hold of her minerals and done the video, No More Silence. Not one. I've not got a phone call, not got an email, not got a message. That's from BG, not one. But another org, that's what I'm saying about them, because I think it's quite ironic, is so conscious about their welfare, they rang Gymnasts Voice to say, what can we do to improve? Have you got any pointers? And can we have a meeting? We're honoured, we will have this meeting. But I've just got a message from someone from another organisation who, how can I put this? What I'm going to read epitomises what I just said. All right, so it clearly says from Anonymous, I've been waiting for this day, for all this information to come forward. British gymnastics is a monopoly. It's all about control culture. It's all about control culture. It's damning to safeguarding children and coaches. Corruption is BG.
There's punctuation there.
Have I read that
yeah,
wrong?
Yeah,
Well,
but it hasn't done that justice at all.
Working class, mate. All right, let's go.
It's all about control, full stop. Culture is damning to safeguarding children and coaches, full stop. Corruption is BG.
See?
Oh.
She got A-level English lit. Do you know what I mean? She's one of them swatties. I weren't. I was too busy enjoying my life. Do you know what I mean? Staying on in there and getting me A-levels. But anyway, long story short, this person is trying to say, and it's not a joking matter, and sorry if to the person who was reading out the message, if that's come across as jovial, it isn't. What this person is saying is, what BG is about is control. It is about emasculating whomever they want to control and making sure that you know the only way you can survive is if you are subservient to us. Now, unfortunately for BG, I came into it in 2011, 2012, and unfortunately I can't be bullied, yeah? I used to be when I was younger, them days are done, but I can't be bullied, and I respect people, and this is how I measure respect. I respect people by how you treat others and how you move with others. So I watch how you treat the waiter. That's how I'm judging you. I watch how you move with your family. That's how I'm judging you. If you're nice to me but start mugging off the waiter, I know you're kind of old tight, because what's my man done to you? I'll watch you how you talk to the cleaner. That's how I judge you. I don't judge you because you banked 8 Olympic gold medals. What's that about? I don't judge you. I've got spars that are 5 dans, 6 dans. I've got a word of friends with enough credibility. I don't need no medals. I don't need none of that. Right? If I needed a medal, I went and won it for myself. I ain't gonna live that through a kid.
Oh,
go on.
Sorry, I don't mean to interject. And also, like Colin just saying that, nobody owns gymnastics, right? Sure. All these people ever wanted to do was do a handstand and flip around and have some fun and feel the energy and face the fear.
Yeah.
That's a lot of it. Gymnasts face fear every single time
Oh
they
my
walk
God.
in the gym.
That's something I will say.
So if they can face it in the gym, face it in real life now. You know, come to us and tell us. We'll tell them. We'll tell your truths.
Well, you know, so
Come
yeah,
to
I
it,
mean,
so.
well, yeah, but I mean, in a nutshell, what obviously that person with that lovely message is saying is that they're tired. They're tired of BG being the national governing body that looks down upon everybody and bullying people. There's scenarios that are complex to go into, but let me make it simple. If you are affiliated to someone else other than BG, you can't get in the Olympics. It's as simple as that.
And why is that?
Right, that's why Nikki's saying no one owns gymnastics. So imagine you've got a child who is absolutely phenomenal at gymnastics, and because of the culture in BG, you decide to put that child in IGA. Just for example. There's other orgs, but I'm just using IGA because they contacted me, and I don't know too much about every other org, but I'll be honest.
And it's an alternative,
Right,
so
right.
why not have a look?
So IGA, your Olympic standard in IGA, but the Olympics are coming up. You will not be selected. You cannot go to the Olympics unless you affiliate to BG. Why is that? Right? So this kid could have grown up in a beautiful environment, nurtured, loving it. But if she really wants a gold medal, she's got to leave that
Switch
org,
over membership.
go and switch to the org that has, hold tight, you put the band list, pass me the band list please.
No.
36 red flipping lines in the past 30 years. So the gymnast has to leave IGA and come to this gaff. What the actual fudge?
Oh, I thought that was going in.
Right? I mean, just break that down for me. So imagine me as a gymnast. So I'm now, let's say I'm 16, right? And let's give myself, I'd love to be able to do that. I'm a perfect gymnast. I'm Simone Biles-esque. I can bust it. And I've got this lovely coach. I'm caught by Nikki. Friendly, loving, warm. I'm in a nice environment. And I really want my gold medal. Because why can't I, as a gymnast, aspire to be a gold medal? I should have that, right?
Yeah.
And Nikki's got to say to me, well, Colton, look, I'm really sorry, but if you want the gold medal, you now got to leave here and go up to Lily Shore or whatever, some other dark place or what. I don't want to. I'm not sorry. Maybe I shouldn't say Lily Shore, but it is the head centre.
No, it's the national centre. I mean, it is a dark place.
But go up the Lily Shore and then get myself broken and worse.
Yeah.
You know, whatever level of abuse you guys like administering for whatever colour medal. Let's get that right.
I suppose I'd have to be BG if I wanted to be your
No, but
coach
you couldn't.
still.
You because you're not affiliated. I would have to
But
affiliate.
then, yeah, but if I was a coach of IGA, could I go across with you
They
and
wouldn't
switch?
allow you to coach me.
Why?
I'd have to be in the hands of the elite
Why?
abusers.
But I've been with him for 16, 18 years, however old he said he was. Why wouldn't that be a thing?
Well, from what I've learned with BG, there's certain people that they tell you that are good. And if your face don't fit, you ain't got a chance. You was told yourself when you was younger you was too kind to the kids to be an elite rag coach. You should know. So you got no chance, love. Sorry, but that is the truth. So where were we? Anyway, another question. Let's get another question in that we haven't yet answered, and because we've got to cut this short in about the next 20 minutes.
You've got to find the email, I've got to tell a story,
For
and
the
I've got
email.
another question.
Well, okay, yeah. While we're in the subject, can you tell the story without notes, or
Yeah, well, you try and find the email.
Alright,
I'll try and read it.
Let me just set this up for you. Sorry, let me just set this up for you. No,
Tells me to do it. I could have had another 2 minutes. Another 2 minutes. He stole John.
if you stop, I can set it up. Right. Yeah. This person is one of those victims from the 50s, 60s, 70s. And her story is toe curling and has never ever had anyone to speak to. And I wanted you to understand this is not a child speaking, right? But it's very fresh in their mind. Over to you. Set that up. There you go.
Okay, so I'm just going to read because I wanted to do this one justice because it's very, very close to my heart by this person. So I'm just going to read. And I've written this of her story,
Read.
okay? Have you found your email?
Have you started reading?
Right. Some people believe that the abuse has been happening recently, only just recently. It's not. People have been trying to do the right thing for over 40 years. I have had the pleasure of meeting a kindred spirit across the country with a heart as big as a lioness. After athlete A and the culture of abuse, she was brave enough to find her voice again after 40 years of hell, and I mean hell. She entrusted me enough to share what she needed to be shared tonight. When she told me her story, I felt her pain. The way and I heard and I listened. I listened the way she needed me to listen. She is a legend. She cannot come out in public yet, but one day, when the time is right, she will be here to tell her own truth. And I will stand proudly beside her to deflect any ripples you get, girl. But for today, I'm going to do my best for her and everybody else that has entrusted me and Colton with their pain. And I'm going to give them the respect they always deserved. Gymnastics gave these kids their scars. The least you can do is look at them as adults and see them. You have to see those scars. Then maybe they can heal. Scars and all. Someone described it to me as a plate. The plate's broken lots and lots of times, over and over again. You can stick the plate back together, but it's always going to be broken. These people aren't going to be fixed. There's not a time limit when these people are going to be fixed. They have to live with the scars, and they have to learn to live with those scars. And what will help is if you acknowledge them. I've heard it described like being in a circus, but performing for who, eh? No one owns gymnastic. No one owns a cartwheel. Because if gymnastics is the movement of your body, then that would mean they own your body. And no one owns your body.
They think they do, though.
No one owns your body, your mind, or your spirit. Everyone has a choice. Since the doc, I've met some beautifully strong, courageous people. They've broken my heart over and over again. But if they are strong enough to tell me what they endured, then I'm going to stand in front of them and tell their truth, that they have entrusted me to share some of the truth. I know she's going to be laughing at me now. I have had the pleasure of meeting a kindred spirit across the country with a heart. I've just read that.
Yeah,
All right. So what? Okay. So what do you think about this? Imagine a 15-year-old girl. That little girl lost everything that day. She phoned British Gymnastics for help. This was in the early 80s. That's 40 years ago. She was trying so hard, even then, to actually do the right thing. And she could have stopped all of these kids getting hurt 40 years ago. But nobody heard her. She trusted her dreams with you, and you used her love for gymnastics as a way to manipulate and abuse her continuously. She was not a puppet, and certainly not yours to mold. Can you just imagine this kid back in the early 80s, walking to find an old phone box to ring the imposing Lillishaw, to report what had happened to her, standing in the rain, scared and alone, only to be told by the reception that the words you are saying are very serious, and to think very carefully before she says any more, as this could lose people their jobs and their homes. They haven't changed much, have they? Then they followed with, why doesn't she go to speak to her friends and her parents? She remembers saying she couldn't talk to her parents, so was told to write a letter, which she did, and sent by post, because there wasn't any email or internet. She waited 6 months anxiously, every day, waiting for the letter. It never came. It's never come since. As a traumatized kid, only 15 years old in the 80s, alone and scared with no one to talk to, just trying to do the right thing, this broken kid had been used like a piece of meat and abused in the most horrific way you can imagine, multiple times. So much so that having to wee on her hands, because the Russians did, seemed acceptable somehow. Getting pushed in over the split and sat on seemed bearable, and the eating disorders she regularly struggles with because of the judgments by abusive coaches themselves was tolerable, and the shouting and physical damage hurt her, but she showed no emotion. She'd been trained not to. Every performance was masking her pain. She even protected her teammates, as she couldn't stand the thought of him doing it to them. This kid competed for her country. She's trained at these big clubs, and yet no one, I repeat, nobody has ever checked in with her for 40 years. Not only was she horrifically abused in the worst way possible by any adult man, let alone someone you entrust your young lives to, was supposed to be her safe space. She then became so talented that she was chosen for her national squad. Her reward may be for never pursuing what was very, very wrong. she was pushed into the hands of these national coaches. These are different coaches now. And don't you talk to your friends or parents, standing scared and alone. Sorry. You need to understand how hard it is to get into these national squads. These kids work so hard and give up so much of their time for gymnastics. They feel privileged to have been chosen or selected to have access to these high-performance coaches and facilities. There wasn't any pits in these days. Lilleshall had one of the only pits, and then pits decided to turn up at different gyms, so they'd use this as a way of getting these kids to develop bigger skills. Yeah, I'm gonna have. Nah. Well, they'd be lined up in inspection like the army, and the adults would parade them, telling them, checking body fat, telling them that they might not have a leotard that's big enough for them in front of all those adults. Can you imagine that? These kids performed for their country, and this is what you gave them, and then nothing at all. Well, these people have now grown up. These people are now big, strong mamas, and these people have now met me in Colton, and we will stand beside any of them, any ex-national, any historical figure, any Olympians, any ex-Olympians, anybody, coaches, judges, workforce. You come to us, we'll listen, and if we can piece everybody together, we're stronger, and we can be one voice. It's one fight, and they need to acknowledge. I'm going to stop there.
I don't think they need me. You're enough, though.
I'm in a hot flash.
Listen, you know what? You know
I don't
what?
want to bore them.
I've just had 3 messages on the phone saying I'm that broken plate. So I know that story that she has just said has not only resonated from the people that are watching in. I've had 2 broken plates and hold tight. But anyway, what I'm saying is this. I can't express enough how much it means to us, as you can probably see from my wife now. It's tough, you know. It's tough hearing these stories. It makes you angry. It makes you want to go and do something about it, which we are. You know, that's why I can't understand the rest of you.
Why aren't you? Why haven't anyone done anything?
Yeah, but again, that's. But
and there are people around. There's enough of us. The light's getting bigger. There's lights across the country, and we are finding them.
Let's hope that tonight opens those doors. Let's hope there's another coaching team, Jim, that may watch this and understand the broken plate story, understand the journey of that person to be a broken plate. Hopefully recognise there may be a saucer or a cup that's got a chip in it that they know about, that before they let it get broke up and look for the super glue, say something about it. Should we start with that? But anyway, that's me getting mad, and let's not. So I'm now a passionate thank you. Well, I know why. Thank you to the person. I know you know who I know who you are, and thank you for that very honest breakdown. And I hope that the way that she's read it, and the fact that we've got messages that they're saying they're then broken plates, it's resonated, my love, and I can't thank you enough for that contribution. I'm going to finish with reading an email from someone else, the last question, and then we'll wrap it up. And then we'll look back at this organised chaos and see what worked, what didn't work. And hopefully there's still people still watching live, which would be nice. We might go through and
I think there was.
Right?
And hopefully when Dino's here, it all runs really smooth, and we'll just be like,
Dino, quite clear we need you, all right, for a bit of professionalism, all right? But we need someone from Leigh just to spice it up a bit. But look, let me just read this last thing. But in a nutshell, there's probably lots that we've missed and covered, and me and her can talk till cows come home. So let's this was another anonymous email that came in I'll just flick through a couple of days ago. So hi, here is a query with regards to welfare in British gymnastics. Now I've got to say, I think our welfare is not fit for purpose. I think a chocolate teapot would give you at least a use more than our welfare, but that's just my opinion. Question 1. Is it good practice for a club welfare officer to have a relative as a coach/staff member at the same club? If there is a complaint about a coach, how can a gymnast/parent/coach go to the welfare officer and trust the matter to be dealt with? I think that's a very valid point, don't you?
Sure.
Having a family member, and if that family member is really close, and the welfare, I don't see how you get a impartial decision. I don't. I wouldn't expect any of my relatives to take a gymnast side over me. I'm being honest. I wouldn't. That's how my family roll. And that's not fair to the gymnast, then, is it? So if I had a brother or a sister or an uncle as my welfare officer, that gymnast is in trouble. I've got to be honest.
Exactly. And then not only do they then become a club welfare officer, I think they're then a regional welfare officer, and all the officers are in charge of clubs and committees. So you just got one bunch of people. I think the caseworkers might be okay, but they haven't really got a say. So it doesn't matter even if they agree with you and think that somebody should be sanctioned or expelled or in prison, they haven't got a say. It's still got to go through the head of welfare and the head of integrity.
Well, the time
oh no,
with
he's
that,
gone.
it says,
Just head of welfare.
the time with that, it should a coach also be a regional welfare officer in the same region as their club.
That's right.
So that depicts exactly what you're just saying.
Yeah.
The third point was, wouldn't it be more fair with no conflict of interest in all welfare? Well, I'm not even going to finish that because I think we said that in the first bit. Yeah, I do. I've got to be honest. If and you know what, and I'm just going to be totally honest. If my son and daughter were part of our club in any official capacity, I do not see how they would not put mummy and daddy first before the gymnast. Fact. I'd be pretty disappointed if they did. I'm not going to lie. Maybe that's why these people do it, because if you put family members in these positions, they're going to look more favourable upon me than they are the gymnast.
And people won't even go because they won't expect you to do anything.
Oh,
I mean,
and you know what? Let's add this to it. If my son and daughter were in that position, I think I could dictate to them how I want them to do it too, as their father. I believe that if I said to Mac or Ty, look, I want you to do with this X way, as their father, they probably would. Whereas if it was someone independent that weren't related to me, they could go, you ain't my dad. I'm not doing that. So, yeah, so that answers that one. I think now what I'm going to do is probably wrap it up, because I need to look back of how this has gone, and I'm very conscious that we've probably run into nearly 90 minutes.
I don't even know if Tim was still there. I knew we got to 15, I think, at one
stage.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we've made a start. You can comment, you can tell us what worked, what didn't work. We will keep working to improve it, and I'm glad that we've had this one to break the ice, so that by the time Dino comes, it should be a little bit smoother. I can't thank you or my wife and everybody involved enough and behind the scenes with Gymnast Voice to get this up and running. John, the cameraman, who's patiently been the other side waiting for us to shut up. He's giving me the X Factor sign. Cut. We're running out of film. Do you remember them days, running out of film? You lot don't even know what film is, do you?
Yeah, mine not well.
But anyway, all I want to say is I hope that we got across the points we should have done. In a nutshell, you can contact us anyhow. Our ethos is to help you, listen to you, ask the public the questions, give those questions to a professional civil lawyer who can help you with your case. I haven't touched the ICP tonight. Oh my God, that's so embarrassing. I was really going to go into that, but let's do another podcast because I don't want to get involved. That's really bad.
You can summarize in one time.
But in summary, the ICP, you can still coach if you're under that investigation. 2, it is an independent panel that's made up by BG with one person outside of BG who can make a decision. It's not fit for purpose. If you are in an ICP, it is likely that you will find out you need to go to Steve Scott. He wrote an article. If it goes past 6 years, there's a 6-year time bond, which means that then your case could not get a conclusion. So you could wait 6 years, said gymnast has complained about the coach is still coaching that person for that length of time, and you get no resolution. That case is now being appealed to see whether you can. Otherwise, they call it, that lovely word, historical, and they won't take no further action. Oh, also about the ICP, there was a very, very, very short window of opportunity that you could be in an ICP, which had to be put in between May and July of 2020. If you did not put your complaint in between those 2 months in 2020 that BG never advertised that you had to, you ain't in an ICP. You can, if you've made that complaint to BACS during that 52-day period. You can, if you made the complaint to Anne White or you're in the White Review, in that 52-day period be considered for an ICP, so that you didn't have to directly complain to BG, but if you didn't do it in that 52-day period, you're finished. You haven't got an ICP. Great organisation, aren't they? You wonder why they need regulating. You wonder why. What kind of... Whoever wrote that, I've got to give them their due, they're quite clever. Because to me, it's like they systematically invent ways to mug you off. And they're quite clever at doing it. And they'll put up another policy brochure or glossy picture to tell you how we're changing, but the culture ain't changed. So I've missed a hell of a lot out. I don't know if, you know what I mean, Nikki, there's nothing else to add, but...
No, yeah, I could go on for hours, but
yeah, but
that's enough.
Yeah.
I think you've said enough.
Well, look, on the behalf
I just think about the ICPs, like, just get rid of them. They're not working, find a different way, and Dino doesn't even need an ICP. Like, just go straight to a civil lawyer and you can get seen. Do you know what I mean? I have no idea why they're still waiting.
Well,
sitting in their meetings somewhere.
Different law firms work different ways, and I ain't going to be derogatory to any other law firm. I will just tell you that the way that I've seen Leigh work is highly efficient. That's all I will say. On that note, again, I don't know who's watching, but I hope you enjoyed it or at least learned something. I think we've missed out a lot, but this is an emotional subject. We will dial into more and answer more questions on the next one. And if you've got any questions about the ICP, like I say, contact me via any other social medias, and we go from there. But on behalf of Gymnast Voice and on behalf of you, I hope you can see what we're trying to do and what Gymnast Voice is trying to do, and I hope that it's helped you. Even if you recognise yourself as a broken plate, that's a start for us.
And I love broken plates.
You're not alone, and you will never be alone again. I ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere, and I ain't going nowhere. Do you know what I mean? So that's that. So until we meet again. Oh, I'll tell you what I can do.
God,
Numpty.
so he doesn't let me go.
No,
Going.
no, because I just remembered.
Oh,
Shut up. April the 19th, Friday. Dino will be here. That's the new date. April the 19th.
I know, it's in my diary.
But I haven't told them, have I?
No, then tell him. Oh, you told him?
April the 19th. And I'll leave it at that. That's when we'll see us again. Bye-bye. It is April the 19th.
Are we on?